Hello everyone, my name is Shirley Valencia and this is week 4 chapter presentation. I was assigned chapter 8, focusing on employee friendly policies. So my chapter was very interesting and I really enjoyed it. And the topics that I want to focus on during this presentation will be current workplace trends, the family and work programs that are discussed in the chapter, the pros, cons, my social work perspective, and theories. So first of all, our trends at our workforce now, it's majorly impacted by women. About 70% of women participate in the workforce today. So a lot of the policies are friendly towards women and the needs that they have. Another trend in our workforce today is the sandwich generation, which is those that are currently taking care of an elder parent and their own children, and at times grandchildren. We have a mixture of generations in the workplace. We have our baby boomers, our Generation X like myself, and then we have our millennials. And we also have our non-traditional families. Like I said, a lot of these policies that I'll discuss in the next slide help all this, all our trends in the staff that we have nowadays in the workforce. So first of all, these are the policies. Like there were more in the chapter, but these is that I really think they're very interesting, and the SMPA students, we should be informed about them. As in our current or future career, we'll most likely be either enrolling in one of these, or administering, or writing a proposal for one. So I think these are awesome. They're fairly new, most of them. So not most of them, but they're pretty new. So starting with the Family Medical Leave Act, this is really protection for up to 12 weeks in the case you need it for, like, after you have a baby, if you're ill, if you're going to care for a child, a parent, a spouse. That's available for you. It's usually unpaid, and it usually or paid, depending. Private might be a little different, but if you have time available to use, you'll go ahead and exhaust all your time but be protected under this act. We also have child care, which is a big one. I don't think this is so new, but for most of the local government agencies, maybe state and federal, get it for free, or a lot of them get a really good discount or free benefits for their child care. But for example, for me in a local agency, we don't have it for free. What we do get is like a dependent care account, which is a pre-tax kind of account, so you can pay your child care off of that account. So it's aid for staff that have children. We have domestic partnership now. This one I think is pretty new. It's in the policy. I think it's basically geared towards providing domestic partners the same type of benefits as spouses would receive. We also have adoption benefits. I am not familiar much, personally, with this one. I haven't seen it at my employer, but I'm sure that if I do a little bit of more research about my employer and the benefits, maybe we do get some sort of benefit or financial stipend or something in the case we adopt. But if anything, I think it's awesome. Maybe they provide some financial assistance during the transition into becoming a adoptive parent, or like the time you need to take when you adopt a child, that in another instances wouldn't apply, because a lot of these programs have to have you have to be tied to them in one way or another by being a parent, being a child of, or caring for your parent, or being ill, stuff like that. So this one's pretty new to me, that now even if your adopted child, you can still enjoy those benefits. EAP. I'm familiar with EAP. They provide resources for a lot of our programs for staff, and not only for staff but also for their families. So I find this really awesome. They provide or they contract with other providers. Like I know for a fact that at work there's a lot of people that call when they have like needs for finding therapy for their children or their themselves, if they need to see a therapist or stuff like that, and they usually get like a amount of sessions at a discounted price, or like free for the first 6 sessions or something like that. So I think EAP is awesome, and I think that, like I said, like for us it's really important to know all these programs that at some point we will have to either use, administer, or sometimes terminate. I'm not sure, but hopefully not. Okay, then we also have the flexibility of schedules that it's now offered. Like some people like to do flex time, like myself. I have a 980, so I get a Monday off every other week, which is awesome because you look forward to that extra time off. Or you can take care of your personal business during that day and not interrupt your I'm sorry, not interrupt like your work. Like don't ask for time off and stuff. You can really focus at work when you're at work, because you know that Monday it's for you. You can take care of whatever you gotta do. You also have some people like part-time because they need to care for a family member or child care, whatever. So more and more we're seeing that employers are more accommodating for this request. We also have the telework or telecommuting that it's I think a lot of our millennial staff enjoy because they're very techy, that stay home, not really socialize. They don't need a lot of that face-to-face interaction. They can do their work at home and just be in their computer and do their own thing. Okay, so now the pros and cons of these policies. Well, of course, the pros would be like job satisfaction. A lot of staff find that these policies make their job more satisfying. The flexibility, there's lower absenteeism because they're protected by these policies, or whether because they're part-timers or have a flex schedule, or they're protected by FMLA. Their morale is boosted by knowing that they have this policy, so by knowing that there's a EAP program they can count on, or something in that sense. Retention, a lot of them like to stay because of these extra benefits, policies, perks, like they wouldn't get in other employments, or I'm not familiar with the public sector, but I don't know that depending on the size of the company, it's what they have to comply with. So if they have less than, let's say, 50 employees, maybe they don't have to provide EAP, stuff like that. And of course, because of the same thing, they'll be loyal to their employer, right? The cons will be the cost to the employers and the funding sources. So not every year we get the same amount of funding from the same agencies or wherever we get our funding from. So for example, this year we got funding for certain policy, but the next year that the fund is no longer available. I think that's when it becomes difficult. Like, where do we fund it from this year? And of course, the cost to the employers. I mean, I guess it balances out. Once you have employees being productive, you will be spending the money anyways, maybe in hiring more people to complete the work or to cover for people calling out and stuff like that. The underutilization of the programs, because a lot of them don't know they exist, so they pay for all these policies but they're never used. Of course, turnover a lot of times when we don't offer these policies, or when we do, let's say we offer the flexible schedule and then we don't have sufficient coverage because everybody wants to work from home now, and then we need staff in the office. And unreliable because yes, we protect you under FMLA, but we can't protect everybody under FMLA, because then how are we going to have staff again at the office serving the customers we need to serve? So it gets a little interesting with that, but overall, I think that pros over they win over the cons. Okay, so then on my social work perspective, my own, I believe that these policies actually help us in our socioeconomic status as individuals, as families. We like if we have affordable childcare, or if we have elder care, all those things, like we have less potential for having a child abuse episode or an elder abuse episode. So it's kind of like assistance for the staff, but it's not only the staff; it's their family, the children, your spouse. We provide by providing EAP, we ensure that people that feel that have the need for therapy get it, and at a discounted rate. So it's not only the therapy, the stress of the therapy, but the stress of the financial possibility of how you're gonna pay for your therapy. So all those things like interlock with each other and perfectly work for us in a social work perspective. It's I think it's wonderful policies. On theories, I think this is probably what Follett was talking about when she was talking about reciprocal relationships, and how if we meet our employees' needs, they'll be more productive, and if we and in the same token, they'll be more encouraged, more productive, increased their loyalty, and because we're removing those roadblocks, right, from whatever is keeping them from being at work, or for for whatever's keeping them not to be 100% at work. We're trying to assist with this policy. So I think that's how her theory works in this sense. And I also think Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the second one, the safety. I think that if we provide these policies, our staff will feel like their employment secure, their resources are secure because they're getting paid on time and they don't have to stop working or go part time or they can have a different schedule, maybe work when their kids are at school from home and at the same time care for a parent. So by that I think we meet the second one, the safety, and which is security of employment, family, health, and property. So that's what I have for theories. Okay, well, thank you for watching. I hope to hear from you. Thank you.